Hello and a very warm welcome to Kate Middleton on the Queen Channel. Trying to understand what is really going on with the behavior of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle is not easy, guys, and that's why so many times we have predicted they are on the brink of a divorce. Now, I still think there is something going on with this. I still believe everything is not okay in Montecito. There are just way too many signs. We can't possibly ignore them and accept Meghan and Harry's story that they're perfectly happy with each other. And the fact that they're putting on this big show to try to convince us that they're still together and still very much in love, it's not working. So the first article I want to talk about is in OK Magazine. According to OK Magazine, Harry really is trying to find some new place to live in the UK. As we reported earlier this year, coincidentally or not coincidentally, right after Spare came out, King Charles told Meghan and Harry it was time for them to pack up their things and move out of Frogmore Cottage. Now, some people are reporting it was an eviction. It wasn't so much an eviction as King Charles deciding not to renew the lease on the cottage. But anyway, the end result was the same. Meghan and Harry were out. They are no longer allowed to use Frogmore Cottage. With that decision, of course, Meghan and Harry ended up officially not having anywhere to stay when they go to the UK. Harry has been told that he can book a room in a palace, but he's got to let them know ahead of time, which apparently he doesn't want to do. So he hasn't even really taken them up on their offer. According to OK Magazine, Harry really is house hunting in the UK, they say, despite Meghan Markle's reservations. So they go on to say that a source has reported that there is a divide between the couple on the issue, but they will soon start looking for a property of their own near London, and Harry is very much leading this. Well, of course Harry's leading it. I mean, come on, why would Meghan want to be closer to her in-laws? After everything she has said about them, after everything she has done to try to ruin them, and not only Harry's family, but think about everything they said about British citizens. Yeah, I would hope Meghan Markle is not wanting to move back to London. So this article claims that Harry wants Archofficial and Invisibet to, quote, grow up understanding their British roots. Well, considering the children don't exist, I'm not sure how well they're going to be able to understand their roots, but whatever, moving on. So, The Friend says making use of a small apartment in Kensington Palace from time to time isn't out of the question, but when it comes to a home in the UK, they will purchase that themselves. Now, if we are to believe this, that means that at least Harry is planning on spending a lot more time back in the UK than he has lately. So what does that mean for Meghan? Is Meghan going to be expected to go along with him? I don't think so. And according to what Tina Brown says, it is highly unlikely Meghan is going to agree to such a thing. In September, Tina said, she feels that England rejected her. She rejects it and finds it cold and boring. And during a Sky News Australia appearance, Tina Brown said, there is nothing in it for her and she loves the Hollywood scene and that's where she wants to be. So when we think about everything that is going on with the two of them, when we take a step back and look at their lives as a whole, the picture becomes pretty clear. They are going in separate directions. We keep getting all these puff pieces about Meghan's next career move, that she may or may not be having a meeting with Tyler Perry, and that's why they're in Atlanta. I'm not sure about that, but anyway. And then at the same time, we're hearing all this news that Harry is happy when he's in the UK. He wants to move back. It's also important to remember that Meghan and Harry certainly have a hand in these articles. It's not like they're written by some kind of unbiased, objective person. No. These are puff pieces. Honestly, to me, what it looks like is they're trying to set up a case for irreconcilable differences. They're setting things up so that when we eventually hear about the divorce, they're hoping people will say, oh, well, but they were on such different paths in life. I mean, we can't blame them. Essentially, it would provide an easy out for both Meghan and Harry. I believe they want to set things up so that it will look like there's some kind of external influence that caused them to get divorced. They want us, the public, to believe that they were just a couple of crazy kids trying to make it, but unfortunately, love wasn't enough. And then at the same time, as we're hearing this news that Harry is looking for a new place in London, we're getting these headlines like Prince Harry trying to avoid being overshadowed by Meghan Markle. That's in the Express. And this article in the Express claims that Harry is keen not to be overshadowed by Meghan. April Glover said, "Thankfully for Harry, his time in Dusseldorf for the Games was not overshadowed by any royal scandal or cruel headlines about Meghan." In this, what I understand is Harry is trying to say, do not associate me with Meghan. I've got my own thing going on. I think Harry actually wants to highlight the work that he's doing. He doesn't want Meghan to be a distraction anymore. There's also an article in the Mirror detailing what a body language expert had to say about Harry and Meghan. The headline is, Harry and Meghan have stopped being openly passionate and toned down their affection. Body language expert Darren Stanton has weighed in, and he knows his stuff. So he explained how their relationship has evolved. Quote, touching on how the couple's public displays of affection have changed drastically over the years, Mr. Stanton said, when they started dating and became more established as an official couple, they were very affectionate in public, almost more affectionate than William and Kate. But, he says, I feel that they have toned it down a bit in recent times. I have seen their engaged eye contact has decreased, and they aren't as tactile with one another. While they do love each other and they will do anything to support one another, we tend not to see them as being openly passionate. Well, who could forget how they used to act in public? I mean, their hands all over each other, that claw of hers always digging into Harry's arm, and that's not what we're seeing now. I mean, even in that weird, possibly AI photo of them from the Caribbean, they're not even really holding hands. As another body language expert said, they're about to hold hands, but they couldn't even make it work. And no, of course, I don't buy for 1 second that photo was taken by that single random passerby. I mean, that was obviously a staged photo, and they couldn't even manage to hold hands for it. That tells us something is going on. Now, I believe that Meghan and Harry are starting to hate each other. Mr. Darren Stanton doesn't. He says, despite this, the pair clearly have huge levels of respect for each other and are there for each other through everything. I'm not buying it, though. Obviously, they're not there for each other through everything. I mean, just look at what's been going on recently. Harry went to Well Child Awards on his own. We didn't even know if Meghan was going to show up to Invictus. In fact, I kind of think she wasn't going to. But then she figured she needed some good PR, and so that's why she came after all with that really ridiculous made-up story about the milkshakes. At this point in time, Meghan and Harry have suffered a series of setbacks. They had a horrible summer. I mean, let's be real. So, the two of them are not able to look in the mirror and actually take accountability for their own problems. This is something we have talked about again and again. So what are people like that going to do when things start to go wrong? They're going to turn on each other. They're going to blame each other for their failures, of course. Because neither one of them is willing to admit fault, and I believe that is going to be the downfall of this relationship. See, for the first 3 or 4 years of their marriage, they were able to blame the external world on their problems. They were able to act like they had this safe little bubble consisting of only them, and the big bad world, especially Harry's family, was out to get them, so they needed to hang on to each other to stay safe. But now that little story they have concocted for themselves isn't going to work. I mean, they've gotten away from Harry's family. Harry's family hasn't had any contact with them in a long time. And they cannot pretend like they have no control over the narrative at this point. They've got their PR teams releasing those flattering puff pieces about them on a daily basis. And still, people don't like them. They still are not achieving the success they want. And I believe the devaluation stage has begun too. Recently, Meghan couldn't even stand to use his name or refer to him as my husband like she had done so many times in the past. Now he has been reduced to this one. Who knows if they're even living together anymore? I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we start hearing more reports that they are living separately, that Harry's staying in hotels. It is certainly a story to watch. And you, what do you think about Meghan and Harry's marriage? Please let me know your opinion below in the comments section. As always, before you go, don't forget to like and share this video with anybody else who would enjoy it. And also, if you haven't already, please click the subscribe button to not miss a single new update from Kate Middleton and the Queen team. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back to see you soon in the next videos.